Dad was like, "Oh, so what game did you buy?" I'm like, "Oh, Final Fantasy 7." And it's like, "That's really old, isn't it?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're remaking it." And he's like, "Didn't the remake come out?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is part 2." And he's like, "Yeah, so they finished it." And I'm like, "Nah, there's still another one to go. I'll be in my 30s by the time this finishes at this rate." Like, oh, God.
That's on the PS6.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. I'm one of your hosts today, Ethan. Joining me, as always, are my good friends Kyle.
Hello.
And Hunter. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just as well.
It is Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth time, ladies and gentlemen. We are finally here. We have made it.
We finally
to the second
got it.
part of this decade-long experience. You know, if this podcast keeps going, we will finish this. This will be like, I feel like this is, we started at Final Fantasy 7 Remake, we will finish it whatever the flip happens in like another 5 years. So it's like, we're in the middle ground, but we're here. And it's, you know, it feels nice to be here because it's like, I feel like we've been living on the what ifs and the hopes and the dreams of this game, like I said, for the past 4 years. It feels weird to have the second part of it and be, oh yeah, this thing will finish at some point. This is weird. It feels weird.
It is strange to have like speculation period over for a little while.
Definitely.
And now we're all just hunkered down with
At least
the game
until we
now.
get to the end of the game.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it's never going to be the same again because this game sets the groundwork, doesn't it? Because it's like if they go all off, if they go to the races, then we know they're going off to the races. If they're actually like, get your expectations back in here, we're not doing that much, then it reels it in. It's going to be an interesting one, regardless. But it is here and it is out now. We've been playing it for quite a bit. We've got first impressions coming right up. That's the whole episode. We're just going to talk all about it. We're going to give our overviews, our initial thoughts. We're going to go into the nitty gritty, and then we'll give you a summary of is it worth playing for yourself. So yeah, you've got all that to look forward to this week. I want to start with a bit of a funny story because I think this is quite funny, and it won't be funny to Cal Hunter. They'll sigh and they'll go, "Classic Ethan, he's done it again."
No.
Come with me, guys, as we dip into a little topic that I like to call Ethan might have undiagnosed ADHD. Come on in, the water's fine. So,
Oh, I know where this is going.
he knows where it's going.
I saw someone else do this, and I thought of you when I saw it.
So, some people might remember that I pre-ordered the deluxe edition to 7 Rebirth like the instant it came out, and I was in a conversation with these two people when I was like, "Oh, I have that pre-ordered. I bet I'll cancel that." And I distinctly remember saying in my head, "Oh, I'll do it tomorrow because it wants me to confirm all my stuff, so I'll just do it tomorrow because it was 3 a.m. Whatever." Next day, whatever happens. Couple of months later, I'm like, "Oh, I've cancelled that pre-order. Job's a good one. I'll buy it digitally so I can play it instantly." Come Thursday, I get a notification from Amazon saying X amount of money's gone through, and I go, "Oh, is Amazon Prime renewed? Is that what that is? That must be Amazon Prime because it happens at this time of the year." So there we go. Do. Get to my fucking post box, and then
My hero.
I own 2 copies of this now, so there we go.
The post I saw accidentally bought 2 physical versions of the game, but it's the same principle.
It's the same thing. I just did it digitally. I genuinely did think I cancelled this, and then I get to the post, and then I'm like,
At least it's the right game this time.
Yeah, that's
True.
Unlike that Pokemon game.
I could have sent you Pokemon Sword.
Yeah, like that one time. So yeah, I own this. It's sealed. My dad was like, "How are you playing the game when it's sealed?" I'm like, "That's a really funny story. Next question." Thank you. So there we go. I own 2 copies of the game. I thought it was funny though, because I distinctly remember being in a call with you two saying, "I need to cancel that," and then I was like, "I'll do it tomorrow," and I never did, and I forgot about it and acted like I did. It was great. But oh well, it's fine, because this game is pretty alright. So, let's dig straight into it. Remember, guys, I've spent double on this game, so my impressions better be good. We'll find out. I will write notes.
Your impressions still only count for 1, though.
That's what you think. The power of purchasing power, Kyle. I will have double the
Look, that other copy's not open yet.
I don't think they care what you think. You already bought it.
It's true.
Yeah.
Square's like, if only more people
got the
forgot to
money.
cancel multiple pre-orders. Damn, that's crazy. But yeah, let's get into it anyway. Let's start with our history. So, where are we in terms of Final Fantasy? We'll start with you, Hunter, because I feel like you're a good place to start. What's your history with Final Fantasy 7 and or the remake?
Well, the original Final Fantasy VII is a game that I started and stopped midway through like a dozen times. I've seen the beginning 10 hours of the Midgar section more times than reasonable humans probably should. And if I have seen beyond like early disc 2, it hasn't been any time in my life that is like easy to recall. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah. And then I played Final Fantasy VII Remake when it came out, and the intermission thing when they released that.
The intermission thing, I like it. Kyle, what's your history with Final Fantasy VII?
So throughout my life, I largely ignored Final Fantasy VII just because I didn't want to play it.
He's a hipster,
Then I,
ladies and gentlemen. He is a
yeah,
hipster. He
that's
also hasn't played.
exactly what people call me.
He hasn't played Undertale. He hasn't. What's one of the other ones? Just get your chainmail on, Kyle, because everyone's going to come in for you. Is there anything else? I know there's Undertale. There was Final Fantasy VII. What was? You're a fan of Final Fantasy VIII. That's going to get another group of people angry.
A lot of the Tales games, I feel like that would get me crucified on some lists.
It's fine. There's 5 of them. What are they going to do? They're not going to find this podcast. We'll be fine.
And I'm one of them, so
that's fair.
I think
I'm not a big Earthbound fan.
Oh,
there's like 5 of them.
Yeah, but they're a powerful 5, Hunter.
Reggie isn't one of them, guys. Remember that. Anyway,
they're a scary.
You just say the words Mother 3 and their knees buckle and they start crying.
Mother 3 is a fantastic video game.
You think?
Yeah, and they're gonna be like, I can't play it. Blah.
You'd think because there's only 5 of them, they would have learned Japanese by now. That's all I'm saying. Like, come on, guys, you could have had a class, all 5 of you.
Translation, y'all. It's one of the best.
Just play it then. God, it's not
But
hard.
anyways, we're not here to talk about a good video game. Final Fantasy VII. I didn't touch it until the remake came out during COVID. I'm like, I got nothing else to do, might as well. Then last year, I had finally played FF7 for the first time, kind of in preparation for Rebirth coming out. I have my whole playthrough in a Twitter feed. It was a good time. I enjoyed doing that.
Did you enjoy the game, or did you just enjoy the feed?
FF7? It was a good enough video game. I enjoyed my time with it.
No,
like OG FF7, I enjoyed my time with.
And then I think it's important to say that you didn't
for most of your life, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be important that we do note that you didn't fully jive with the remake either. Like, you were fine with it, but you weren't 100% on the remake.
We can get into that in a little bit.
Okay, and then my history of Final Fantasy VII is hello. I'm from Europe, where most people didn't really... Final Fantasy wasn't as big of a deal here, I tend to feel like. And the people who say it was, I feel like were more JRPGs. Like, JRPGs weren't as huge in Europe for some reason. There's 6 million of them that just never released here. Or some did, and then no one played them. It's one or the other, really. But no, I never really played Final Fantasy, ever. The only thing I knew about Final Fantasy growing up was I had a couple of people that I knew who played this little game called Kingdom Hearts that I thought was pretty cringe. So, whatever. Go away, little Timmy. Go play with your Mickey Mouse and your Sephiroth, whatever they are. But, So I didn't really jive with it. And then I bought Final Fantasy 15 for like $8 or whatever in like 2018, thinking I'll play it maybe one day. I never played it.
Just shaking his head.
And then when Final Fantasy VII Remake finally got announced in E3 2019, I was like, you know what? That looks sick. I actually do think that looks good. I'm going to play it. Why not? That'll be my first Final Fantasy game. So I played it and I loved it. I thought it was great. I've played the Final Fantasy VII Remake roughly 6 times since it's come out in full. And yeah, I really love it. I played Intermission. I think that's great. I tried dabbling with the original Final Fantasy VII, and I got about 45 minutes in, and I'm like, it doesn't jive with me that much. And I said it 4 years ago, and I'll say it again. I thought the idea of what they're doing with this and being someone who's completely blind would be an interesting take to have. So I'm still keeping that take alive, I guess, 2 parts in. As I have still, the only bit of Final Fantasy VII original that I have played is the first hour in Midgar, so it doesn't really... I've already seen that bit.
It's the material that you already know.
Yeah, so I'm pretty good. So yeah, that's our history with Final Fantasy VII as a property, I guess, as a franchise in of itself, because I feel like it's one of the... Yeah, it is a franchise in of itself, really, with the movies and the spin-offs and all that jazz. Like, it's
many spin-offs.
So many spin-offs. Which leads us to now, 2024. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is finally here. in its entirety. Hunter, how much have you played? Where are you up to?
I play it like 12 hours. I'm in like chapter 4, near the start of chapter 4.
Which you're gonna have to say what chapters are what, because I do. Where are you?
I just got to lower Junon.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. That's great. Kyle, how much have you played? Where are you up to?
Well, hearing Hunter's answer now, I'm embarrassed to say.
No, go for it. How many
I've
hours?
put in 24 hours into the game.
Okay.
And I'm about midway into chapter 11.
Yep. Which is, let's put this. Let's. We have got Hunter, who is playing at a normal human rate and doing his whatever Hunter's doing. Kyle is very much doing one plot, which is fuck the side content, and he's going ham. Kyle's going ham on that story.
I just want to play the video game.
And I
the Xenoblade 1 experience is what Kyle's going for.
Yeah, Kyle's going for the Xenoblade 1.
No, it's the I don't want to get accidentally spoiled on the internet experience.
Well, that's cool. Just don't go on Twitter. In fact, I'd recommend that regardless of whether you're playing the Final Fantasy
that's
VII
just a good way to be.
Or not. Don't be embarrassed, Kyle, because this is where I come in. I have played 32 hours of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
All right.
At the end of chapter 7. And the only reason I'm at that far is because the third area can go and suck one, because it cuts 2/3 of it off and goes, nah, come back to that later. And I'm like, no, I want to go and do the content. Let me in. I'm about to head to the Golden Saucer is where I am.
Rad.
And yeah, about 32 hours. If we want to be real, 35, because I have been messing about and going back and doing other little things, seeing what scenes differ with little options and stuff like that. I might have got caught up playing Queen's Blood a little bit and just went back on an old save and started playing more Queen's Blood again for no reason. I
couldn't you have just you can replay the.
I know.
What's your problem?
There was also a part where I did a boss fight, was walking down the tracks. I don't know if you know this bit, Carl. I was walking down the tracks, not to give spoilers, and saw a purple chest with somebody's weapon down there in a section that I missed. And my logical response wasn't, I'll see if I get control of the party on that side again. I was like, well, time to load my save and replay an hour to get that chest. I did that.
Oh my god.
So yeah, 32 hours on the clock.
Best that you skipped Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. Dude, I am literally, I've been, like, you know how I said last week, I'm like, I don't know if I can do a checkbox Andy. Like, I don't know if I'm vibing with checkbox Andyland. I am vibing with checkbox Andyland. I have been ticking every single box that has come my way. I have done every area so far to 100% I can. Which has led to 32 hours. When people say that this game's a 70-hour video game, 100-hour video game, I can 100% see that being the case if you do want to do everything. Because like I say, there's like, I think there's 7 areas in the game based on my rough calculation of Moogles and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm 32 hours in and I've done 2 1/3. Like, oh my gosh. So there you go. Hunter, we'll start with you then. We'll go from least to most played in terms of impressions. How are you feeling about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth so far?
Oh, I've been enjoying it for the most part. There are a few little annoyances here and there, but, you know, there's side stuff that's worth doing, and there's side stuff that isn't worth doing. And I've been proceeding along the way I tend to with these kind of games.
No. That's fair enough. Kyle, here's the intro. I want to start and ask you a question. Right. I'm going to ask you 2 questions, right?
Lay it on me.
The first is, what were your criticisms with the original Final Fantasy VII Remake? Just so everyone's up to pace, just so they know. Initially.
My issues with FF7 Remake were that, well, I just want to say, I love how the story was presented in that game. Big fan of all the performances and the presentation and everything like that. My issues come in the fact that I feel like the game just doesn't respect your time. And I wasn't a big fan of the combat, wasn't a big fan of the boss fights. Everything just felt like, everything outside of how the story was getting presented just felt very first draft, if that makes sense. And
you're wrong as hell, but I'll let you have your opinion. I'm kidding, but you know.
Bro, I don't know how you played that game 6 times. I barely got through it once.
It's because I really like that's the thing is though, is I think where I think there are parts where the game has its flaws. I 100% think that game has flaws. There are many sections where I don't like replaying it. I don't like Hojo's lab. I'm not a fan of
It
chapter
is the
5.
worst.
I really don't like doing the second reactor. I think that section's poo as well. We can get that bit rid of. But I really do like the combat. I really do love the characters, and being new to the story of Final Fantasy VII really drove me through. I stand by it, and I will say it again. I don't think there is a better cast of characters in a JRPG than Final Fantasy VII. And the more that these characters get introduced, like Yuffie, etc., Red 13, because we've hardly saw him in Remake, I'm like, I remember my worries were, oh, well, I really like Barrett, Aerith, and Tifa. What if I don't like anybody else? And all my fears go away because I'm like, no, these are all fantastic characters, and it just drives it forward. Even does the game have its problems? Yes. Does this one have its problems? Yes. But they do drive me forward, so that's why I played it so much. It's like Resident Evil 4. I'm not a gameplay leaning person. Yeah, it's fun to play Resident Evil 4, but do I also like the stupid fucking cheesy catchphrases and stupid quirky lines and dumb stuff? Yeah, it's great. Anyway, carry on.
No, I think I pretty much hit all my points. Didn't you have a second question for me?
Yeah. How are you finding Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and does it rectify any of your issues that you found in the first game? Wow.
See, so with Rebirth, I really like how the story's presented. I think that they do a very good job of that. I love the characters. Yuffie is very rapidly becoming one of my favorite characters in this video game, which I was not expecting.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I think the exploration is very boring. I think that the game, the combat is very shallow, very not fun to play. Not a big fan of the bosses. A lot of the issues that I had with FF7 Remake are still present in this game, and I think I expected it because like it's all done on the same engine. I wasn't expecting like a huge shakeup in how the game was going to be presented, but like I don't know. It just feels like I'm playing more remake, if that make like which
Mm-hmm.
obviously that is the case, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
100%. I feel like I remember when I played, not the first hour. The first hour was very different, and the flashback sequence as well, which is like hours 2 and 3. I was also like, let's chuck this out of the way and wait till we get to the actual meat of the game. When I got to the meat of the game, I was instantly like, oh, Cal's gonna feel the exact same way because it is more Final Fantasy VII Remake, and the games that this game has taken inspiration from in terms of its open world game design are two games. I can think of two games, exactly two games
Yeah,
that.
it's
Well, actually,
Chadley's
three.
checkbox simulator.
I think no. I think there's three games that this game's open world is based on. One of them one of them you like, but I think it's the exact same, and the other two you don't. Well, you didn't jive with, shall I say? It's Horizon Zero
Yeah.
Dawn, it's Ghost of Tsushima, and it's Xenoblade. Those are the three that come to mind instantly in the way that the world's designed. The checkbox and all that jazz from that. The way that I say it's Xenoblade is because it's not an open world. It is a linear area with open elements like Xenoblade is, where it is just here's a chunk of land, here's a chunk of land, here's a chunk of land. Explore them. Like that's the way I'll design it. So when I was playing it, I was like, oh, this open world's going to do nothing for Cal at all, and it's just
No.
more of the same.
It does mostly feel like Horizon to me as well, I would say. There's
Oh,
the little bird that will lead you to stuff that made me think of Ghost of Tsushima, but that's about it as far as that goes.
Well,
Horizon is what popped up in my head when I was
the way
running
I feel
around.
like it's like Ghost of Tsushima is Horizon just where because it's like it's got the little things that lead you in certain directions. It's got like the things to actually explore in the world. It's like it gives you more of a vibe. The fog over the map and there's no way to clear it. It is just where you've explored. Like that kind of stuff was very Ghost of Tsushima to me. But it is definitely that's the one that's the least. I definitely think it is a mixture of Horizon Zero Dawn and Xenoblade as the two that I go to here.
And before someone like calls it out in the comments saying like I'm not playing the game correctly or I'm not exploring the open world correctly or
Which
whatever.
are
Who cares?
First off, I don't really like open world games to begin with.
Mm.
So I just went into this expecting that this wasn't going to do anything for me. But second, if something comes along on the map, if I see like an orange marker pop up, I'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll go pop over there, go get that taken care of. But I'm not Ethan over here taking off all the check boxes, making sure I have 100% in an area before I move on. I really did try exploring that first area, and I
Mhm.
did like 5 or 6 or 7 of the things, and before then, I'm like, I'm ready to move on, dude.
I looked around and ran
I've
to
had
stuff
my fill.
before it gave me the actual stuff to do. So I was like, ah, well, I'm not going back there.
Uh, yeah. So here, well, I'll guess I'll let me talk about my opinions. I guess let's go for it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you're if you're disagreeing with Kyle, then I think all of Kyle's criticism are completely valid. But for me, I think this game is fantastic. I was very concerned about this game. I was concerned that the magic wouldn't be there, that I wasn't gonna like it as much. That the change to open world would make me uh not like it as much. And I'm pretty happy to say that so far, I think this game is fantastic. And I am 90% sure that unless some game shadow drops from Timbuktu and blows me out of the fucking water, that this will probably be my game of the year for this year. Um, I think it's fantastic. I genuinely love playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Is it perfect? God, no. It's got so many issues. Um, and I agree. Well, here's the thing. I agree and disagree. This whole idea of
With what?
the game respecting your time or the game not
Oh,
respecting your
yeah.
time. I feel like the game does respect your time, but
To
it's
a
like
point.
to the
When
no
the
to a
story
point.
grinds to a halt and makes me play shitty mini games, that's where I'm like, "Okay, game, we don't need this."
But here's my counter
When
argument:
the
is is that the game not respecting your time, or is that just stuff that you're not here for? Because that's the thing is, I got to that part of the game where it was like, nah, do some mini games, dickhead, and I was like, aye, Captain, let me go and do that real quick because I was having the time of my life. Because I didn't give a shit because I was like, oh look, I get some quirky scenes with Barrett, I get this over here, I get the most arbitrary characters that I did not expect for a second to return in this game from the original show up and go, what the fuck? Like, why are you here? Like, what's this? Let's go and have a conversation with this. Let's go and see this and that. I think if you are just here to you want the source, you want the action, and you just want to go, then yes, this game doesn't respect your time. But if you want to do the Tim Rogers of drink this game up, fucking guzzle it, just inhale everything Final Fantasy VII, then this game was made for you. Now, is all the side content worth doing? No. There is so
No.
much side content that is just there for if you like the gameplay loop of Final Fantasy VII Remake and you want to do more, go ahead and do more. You get fun dialogue between the characters, you get all this stuff. I think all the side quests are definitely worth doing. The little green objectives,
Yeah, I've been
definitely worth
doing
doing.
all of
They're
those. It's all of
fantastic.
Chadley's chores that I don't bother with because he's a loser.
Yeah, and I do think there's like there's like a four quest line in each one where you've got to go and get the relic, the proto relic or whatever it is. Those are also worth doing in some extent. One has you play Fort Condor 4 times. That one can go fuck itself. But like the first one in the first area of the game is all it's basically a
Oh
novel
wait,
basically a
was that
side
where the
quest to do
highway
with
punks
yeah,
were
from the
at?
highway punks from
Oh,
chapter 9 and
yeah,
Final
yeah.
Fantasy
I
7.
got the first step of that, but I didn't look for the next one afterwards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
neither
and you
did
just keep
I.
playing it, and it's just basically a side quest of just a whole story about them trying to basically doing a Team Rocket and running away with your shit. And you're just like, oh my god, will they just not give me the thing? And it's like, it's stuff like that where I'm just like, I absolutely love what this game's doing. Because, yes, it has that Ubisoft open world gameplay design of boring nonsense, but also, it doesn't it's all manageable. I'm not sitting here doing an Assassin's Creed Valhalla where there's 6 million things to do and it's stuff like I'm like, okay, there's relatively like 20 things to do in each world, and half of them are on my way as I'm going to do side quests, and a lot of it feeds naturally into the gameplay loop. I 100% see how it's the pacing is off if you're doing it the way I'm doing it, which is I've got to get all the stuff and then do the next bit of the story and then get all the stuff because you end up doing 5 hour sections of the game where nothing's happening other than vibes if you're into that. And it's like, yeah, the pacing is kind of poor, really. But if you take all of that out and just side quests and main quests, I think there's so much to love about it, and I think there's so much good in this game. Whether it is the story, I'm really enjoying so far. There are a couple of things. Most of it is the same as the original game so far. There's a couple of weird differences and all that jazz. But most of it is following the path, and it's doing a very good job at following the path, and I think it's doing a great mix and blend of opening up some sections, making them last longer, giving them more purpose in the story, and then also knowing when it's best to just fucking wrap it up and get moving. I think it's great. I think that for the most part, if you didn't like Final Fantasy VII Remake, Rebirth is not going to convince you otherwise. If you didn't pick up Remake and you like the look of Rebirth, I still think you would have a good time. But for the love of God, do not play Rebirth before playing Remake, or I will find you and I'll come to your fucking household and I will install Final Fantasy Remake for you.
Who started watching a stream of Rebirth, and that was their introduction to the whole story. I was like,
Y Square was like, this is a great jumping in point, fellas. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure they're gonna love that first hour of the game. Yeah, they're gonna love that first hour of the game. It's gonna be fantastic. They're gonna have a grand time, mate.
I love that the demo just cut that part off arbitrarily when there was still like 5 minutes of the sequence left.
Yeah. But no, I think it still has those pacing issues. It takes a lot of inspiration from Western developers when it does those stop and talk moments, which for some people don't like stopping and talking. I personally
fucking despise them.
I personally love stopping and talking. There's this whole section where you're stuck on a boat and they're like, it's time to play 5 rounds of Queen's Blood, baby. And I'm like, yeah,
that shit went on for 5 rounds.
Content, yeah, it did. And I had the time of my life. I was smiling the entire time.
Dude, I wanted to kill myself.
That's the thing. If you're not into this bullshit, you're not going to like it.
No, I hate that minigame, dude.
Yeah, and I'd also recommend, well, you, 1, Kyle, have 0 taste, and 2, I'd recommend you never play a Yakuza game. What was better?
The card game from 8.
Well, you can fuck off with that, right?
No, you can go play a good card game, dude.
No, you play a good card game. It's called Queen's Blood, and it's fucking epic. And
dude, I also recommend early generation Yu-Gi-Oh! Before the rules got bloated.
I'm good. But no, I feel like if you're 100% just here to ride the wave, to just be on the crazy train and be like, I just want my juice and then fuck off. This game's like, no, we're here for the vibers. And as a viber, I'm like, hell yeah, let's vibe. Let's play this game for 100 hours. But no, I'm thinking it's fantastic. I'm really liking it. I think it's fantastic. The combat, I love Final Fantasy VII Remake's combat. I know Kyle doesn't. I think it's fucking fab. And I think everything that they've done in Rebirth to improve it makes it so much better. The fact that you can actually fight in the air now, thank you, Jesus, because
dude,
gosh.
People underestimate how much air combos just change the dynamic of a
just
thing.
Being able to dodge and actually move in the air is fantastic. Because when you dodge,
being able to have a way to manage the aerial enemies without hoping that they just, fly down towards me. I'm like, oh, I'll just triple slash you losers and then push square until you're dead.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, just I love it. All of the new abilities. Like, I don't think the moves on guard are that great, to be honest. I don't think most of them are a bit shit. Like the synergy moves, but the full synergy abilities when you've done that, I think they're great.
Synergy, like
love
special
them.
moves are real cool.
And I really love the relationship system that they've built in. It's a small little thing, but if you're like me, and you love building, if you're a Persona fan, you're like, I love arbitrary bullshit. What do I say? Do I fuck it up? How do I make sure? Because I'm trying to balance this game of gold and saucer. I'm like I'm trying to pick a lane, and I'm like, do I have to be horrible to somebody here just to make sure that I get what I want at the end? It's just fun bullshit like that. I also really like. But no, I think this game's fab. I think if you liked Final Fantasy VII Remake, you'll love this. I genuinely do. Is it sloppy? Yes. Is it garbage in some ways? Yes. And let's start with our impressions. I want to like I want to talk about the fucking performance of this game before we start, because have you guys been playing on performance or graphics? I'm curious. What have you guys been
Whatever
playing
it starts at.
Whatever the default was.
on? What
Yeah.
is the default?
I don't know.
I just pushed new game and moved on
Yeah.
because that's how I tend to do this.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to that stuff.
I really want to know now. Because I've got my PlayStation set to start everything in performance mode, so it started in performance mode, and I was like, "This looks shit." And then I played it on graphics mode. I'm like, "This feels shit. I can't win." But I have switched to I'm 100% playing on graphics mode now on the 30 FPS, because it just, I don't know if you guys don't have 4K TVs or anything like that, but playing it on a big 4K TV, the 60 FPS mode is garbage. Like, it looks so bad that I was like, this is kind of taking me out. It looks worse than Remake. That's like my main criticism of this game.
Were some real bad doors in this one on performance mode?
No, on performance mode, it's as if somebody, Hunter, it's as if somebody put their finger in Vaseline and was like, on the camera lens of the video game, was like, rub, 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 and then there you go. Have a look through that bad boy. It just, as smooth as the gameplay is, and it's a locked 60. It's not like Final Fantasy 16 where it's like, I tried my best. It looks awful. And I was like, I'm going to be a 30 FPS Andy. And
the default is graphics.
Okay, you're both playing on the good mode. Kyle, if you've got the game on, swap it to performance mode real quick and just look at it. Look at go and look at the character models and the faces in particular. It's really
it's so smooth.
But the Vaseline, dude. Look at the Vaseline.
Smooth Yoda.
Look at it's smooth.
I can't even change my camera to be the game because I'm in spoiler land.
Oh, great.
Dude, look at this shit, dude. This camera's so smooth now.
Holy shit. It is smooth, but it looks like ass. And
I don't notice a difference. I just notice smooth camera turn now.
Yeah.
Fuck you, I'm keeping it.
Maybe it'll look nice. Yeah, once you get to cutscenes and you see fucking Cloud look like this, you'll be great.
He always looks like that.
Dude, I don't know. This looks totally the same.
On a big screen, it really doesn't. Smooth. With your TV, it probably will look better. But if you're playing on a big screen, it's awful, and I really recommend against it.
I mean, Cloud's face looks kind of squishy, but I think he always looks like that.
No, that's the entire game, dude. That is genuinely, that's what the entire game will look like. Or are you in an interior area, out of curiosity?
Bro, I'm looking at people in a menu.
Oh, you look at a menu?
Sorry, dude, the party's split right now.
Menu's the best measuring stick for your visual differences there.
Well, I'd really recommend, if you are playing this game, stick with graphics mode and you'll get used to the 30 FPS, because it looks way better. It looks really ass. That's my one gripe with this game, is the performance mode is really bad. It looks like Vaseline. It looks worse than base Remake on PS4. And base Remake, let's be real, base Remake on PS4 is one of those games where it's like one of those magic games, It's like that, The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, those last year of video games on PS4 were like those magic games where you're like, damn, this looks too good for PS4. And I'm like, damn, I miss when I thought about that, because now it's just like, why does Remake on PS5 look so much better than this? But I digress. That's my only gripe. We're going to go into slight spoiler territory. I feel like the first couple of chapters are up for grabs. So if you've had enough of impressions, tune out, go for it. Because I want to talk with you guys about the first couple of hours. Because I really, especially that fucking flashback, I was not vibing with the flashback. I just wasn't vibing with it whatsoever. But shall we start with spoilers ahead? FYI, spoilers ahead. Let's start with that. What did you guys think of being stuck with Zack straight away? Because I was like, oh, the juice is here already.
It made me think that the carryover from the demo skipped me too far before I realized that didn't happen yet.
That's funny. That's really funny. No, I was like, oh, we're getting the juice now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then it was only 5 minutes, and I'm like, oh, beans.
That was my favorite part.
Good character.
Well, right.
Everyone else is good character, too.
I also want to say, I I've had 2 scenes with Zach so far, and this is my only impression of Zach. By the way, Hunter, the second one literally comes out of nowhere, shows up for 5 minutes again, and then waves goodbye. And I'm like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Like,
Right,
what is
that's
this
just
fucking
what it's
video
gonna be
game?
for the game, isn't it?
Yeah, dude.
It's in the middle of a chapter. It's not even like a start or end of a chapter. It just shows up randomly after a fight, and then it's like, oh, we're doing this now. And then he's like, yeah, for 2 seconds, and then I'm gonna foot back off against Timbuktu. I'm like, oh, great, wonderful, fantastic. But from my 2 scenes with Zach, I'm like, whatever. Like, I was like, he's a character, I guess. He's like my least interesting character so far. The only reason he's interesting is because of what's happening to me right now. Like, well, okay.
Because
Well,
we don't
yeah,
know why
but
he's here.
man, if you
Yeah.
got more than 5 minutes at a time with him, you'd be as in love with him as everyone else is.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? But I was like, that's interesting. And then it drives you straight into that fucking flashback, which is... It's a very painful... Like, I was in a Kyle territory, like, that's painful. Like, that is... I don't want to say it is as bad as the first hour of Horizon Forbidden West, because I still stand by that being the worst first hour of a video game I've ever played in a good video
It
game.
is. They weren't expecting me to remember people that I'd seen for 2 seconds, so
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Uh,
I did not like it. And it was funny because I was sitting
Really?
there. They did a good job at this point because I was playing it and Cloud was doing all this narration and stuff like that. I'm like, this doesn't add up. This doesn't make sense for him to be here. Why does Tifa look like she's literally fucking kid still? And then Cloud looks like ye normal fucking Cloud that he is as he is right now. I'm like, none of this makes sense. And then when Tifa does the whole, he wasn't there. I'm like, oh, cool. And this is the Sephiroth magic juju powers going. Like, there you go. What's real? What isn't? I'm just like, so I was like,
Yeah.
that's not real.
How about that part in the intro where you got to play as Sephiroth?
Sephiroth, I
That
hope
was
he's a
pretty
new Game
rad.
Plus character. Play as him in the party, have him in the party for the rest of for.
you know
Dude,
what's
that's how you
bad?
get me to play this game a second time.
Kyle, do you want to know what's bad? I'm going to be honest with you. I was like, oh, I'm only going to play as him in this one chapter. So you know what? Use it to get used to Cloud again, because I'm never going to use him. What's the point
Oh
in
my
fucking
God,
learning?
dude.
So I was like,
You
I
have the
used him
whole
for-
game to get used to Cloud again.
I was like,
you
I
little
used him as
baby.
one. I used him as one fight, and I was like, it's whatever. It's like, again, I don't have this.
I was about to
nostalgia.
make
I
the
don't
remark
have-
that Ethan wasn't gonna play him because he's not on the box art, but he is. So that
Yeah, he
card
is.
doesn't even work.
But it's like, I don't have this love for Sephiroth that the internet does, because again, I haven't played the original
Yeah,
Final
but
Fantasy
he's so
VII.
cool.
I don't think he's that
Regardless, he's so cool.
cool. I don't think he's that cool. Out of the 6 million characters that Tetsuya Nomura has created with the idea in his head of, I want to make a cool one, I'm like, that's nice, but they all kind of look the same to me, where I'm like, yeah, he's cool, so's every other Nomura character that he tries to draw. So I'm like, good job.
Kingdom Hearts falls short of that all the time.
True.
Every
but I'm like-
time.
But I'm like, I'm like, I don't really care. And I think the reason I don't care right now is because, again, it's just like, we're doing the whole story right now, you know, the guys with the robes, following the guys with the robes. And then Sephiroth shows up for 2 seconds and goes, yo, guys, are you sure she's still alive? Am I right, Lamau? And then dips again. I'm like, this is stupid. Can we just get some fucking, like, give me some juice. Give me some fucking plot. Just stop dipping in for 5 seconds and going, what if? Dun 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 dun, and then walking away. I'm like, this is dumb. Come on, Seth. Give me something.
Here's the thing, though, that's about how Sephiroth was in the original, too.
It's dumb though. I'm like, yeah, it's like he's Sephiroth
This
at the
version of the
moment-
flashback, I think, did a good job at highlighting him actually being a normal
A
person.
good person, yeah.
For the first little bit, though, until he snapped. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, they got that down better than he just
No,
kind
they
of seemed.
did. Where I did believe him to be an
in
alright
the
guy.
original version, he seemed more just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, yeah, that's fine. I also like I say, I just had my tinfoil hat on the whole time when I was like, this doesn't make like, why would it be here? And my tinfoil hat currently is that was Zach. That was Zach and not Cloud. That's, again, I'm blind to this story, but I was like, it's probably some kind of timeline wishy-washy stuff. The also thing that I realized, which is there's probably a thing, shoot me if I'm wrong, probably am wrong, the fucking soldier that was next to him sounded like Cloud's voice actors. I'm like, is that what's happened? He's just remembering it from the wrong POV. I don't care. It might be right. It might be wrong. I'm doing what I do with every fucking video game where I'm getting too over analytical, where I'm like, sometimes I feel like I'm ruining it for myself, where I'm like, I just need to stop drinking the Kool-Aid.
I feel like
I'm going Danganronpa on their ass. But you know,
there should be an off switch for when it's not a mystery game, so that you can let the twists actually come at you naturally.
I mean, Tifa was like, he's not there, so I'm like, okay, he wasn't there. So I'm like, why else? I'm like, here I am, right? Before we get into Remake Rebirth territory land, whatever have you. I'm like, I know that Zack was in the original Final Fantasy VII. Okay, even before
a little bit.
The spin-off. Yeah, a little bit, exactly. So I'm like, there's got to be a place in this game somewhere that he did fit in or whatever. So then I was like, when Tifa was like, he wasn't there. And I'm like, okay, so then that's probably where Zack was. That was my guess. That's probably where Zack was. I can't wait to be wrong when it turns out that he was actually the person that drops the Sector 7 plate for shits and giggles. I'm like, wow, that was crazy. What a twist. It wasn't Reno in the end. It just Zack came out for no reason. Where is Reno, by the way? Where the hell happened to him?
He's on vacation.
He's on vacation.
Yeah, but Pitbull's around. And
we
they
get
brought
Elena instead.
Yeah, they brought fucking Lark Zine Volume 2 in from Kingdom Hearts. Where I'm like, oh god, you're the same fucking character.
Oh, Elena's cool.
She's alright.
She's
I was
okay.
like, she's fine.
Reno's better.
I mean, I'll not refute that, but.
And I'm never gonna get sick of Pitbull. He's like my favorite. Every time Pitbull shows up, the
second pair of sunglasses from the original, from the
it's
first.
Still my
game.
favorite moment.
It's never not gonna be funny.
Dude,
but Elena's like lowest tier of the Turks.
You've not done it yet. There's another scene with him in the next chapter that is honestly, yes. I walked into it and I was like, this is on par with the stupid sunglasses thing. This is fantastic. I love him so much.
Oh man, Advent Children's really good for fans of the Turks. They have more screen time than the main party.
Dude, the Turks are a really cool set of villains. I'm actually a really big fan of them. And their theme song. Their theme song is really
theme
good
song
too.
rules, and this arrangement of their theme song is really good.
Well, the thing is, I think the thing that why Final Fantasy VII Remake from a story perspective works so well is this is basically a game that is made with the fans in mind. They know what people like, they know what people aren't, and they're trying to balance that act where they're like, okay, you know, people liked the Turks, fuck it, go, like, let's do more with them, let's do stupid shit with them, that's fun. I love that. I really like that playing this and then playing P3 Reload and playing this back to back has actually been a really interesting experience, because it's like, Reload is a remake in its truest form, right, where it is by the books. We might add a cutscene here or there to make Strager at least appear interesting, right? We'll do that, but not really change anything else. And then you play something like this where they are like, no, we are willing to throw stuff to the side and change stuff just to make it better. And I'm like, damn, I love that they're doing this for Final Fantasy VII, and they're doing it well. And they're doing it to a point where I'm like, I love what you're doing here. I wish more people did this. I wish people in the games industry took remakes more like this, and Capcom's also been doing it with the Resident Evil remakes.
Resident Evil 4 was like this on a smaller scale.
I would love, like, don't get me wrong, I love Reload. I think Reload was amazing. You can read my review. I liked it quite a bit, but there's also a part of me that's like, man, I'd love for them to remake Persona 3. Like completely go, okay, what are we doing? Like, let's take a sit down. What are we doing? Just for fun and games. Like, what does work? What doesn't work?
What if the dude teammates had confidants?
Yeah, which, don't get me wrong, I think Link episodes were great. And hear me out, controversial opinion here. I think what they should take from Link episodes is gating off main characters' social links to certain dates so they can have actual progression through the entire story.
Yeah, I think that'd be more reasonable than doing social stats at tier 8.
100%.
For reasons that don't make sense.
Yeah,
Makoto.
100%. I think that's great. But, you know, I'm playing this and I'm like, man, it's like playing through P3 Reload after playing the original is just, oh wow, I'm playing a better version of P3. That's fantastic. That's great. I love this. But playing Rebirth is a whole new experience. And not just, if we fucked off the whispers and all the random Zack bullshit, right, for a second, and just took their expansion of what was in the original game, you'd still be sitting there and going, man, I'm having a fundamentally different experience here, for better or worse, and I'm liking it, I'm loving it. I'm not, and that's different. I wish more people took risks with art in that way, because I feel like remakes for most video games are so safe and boring, where it's like, okay, we'll add a couple of things, maybe. We
It's
won't
just a modernized version of
Yeah.
what came before.
Whereas I'd love them to go, okay, no, what was bad? What was great? What can we do
Yeah.
differently? I think that'd be fantastic. So, and I love it. It's like, it's just the little things, right? It is just like, I love these character interactions. I genuinely, again, I think every voice actor in this video game is fucking incredible. Like, I genuinely love every single performance. And they're doing what I thought I was scared of them they were not going to do, which is they are balancing this cast getting larger but still giving everybody time to shine in ways. I love it. Having side quests relate to individual characters that differ with, I'm like, that's great. That's such a good way of doing side quests and keeping people engaged. Is basically picking one of your party members and going, okay, Barrett's your buddy on this one, basically, and all your
they've
conversations
done
are with him.
a good job with that. I distinctly remember, like, during the mine part of chapter 3 being like, oh, you already did better than the original at making Barrett matter after Midgar by making him matter after Midgar for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Good job.
I love it. It's great. Again, they're doing what I said to you guys, I remember. I'm like, I feel like they're really going to need to split the party up at times. Otherwise, people are just going to use the same 3 people. And they do that. And they do it in good ways where I'm never sitting with a party where I'm like, damn, all the characters that I do want to play as are on fucking Team B and I'm stuck here, right? Where it's like, oh, I
think my biggest issue has been that the party that I was using always has the materia that I want, so I have to take like a minute to be like, all right, now I'm gonna
do the materia shuffle.
Yeah, with the assess materia especially, because I'm like, I still want to get all those things done. So it's like, okay, right, just put it on Barrett, I guess, for this one. This little bit with Red 13 and whatever have you. You know, do that little shuffle. But they give you so much materia in this game that I'm not having to do that shuffle as often. Like, there's a point, if you do all your Chadley fucking chores,
no,
the game's not just like, oh, your reward is, like in the original, it was like, your reward is one version of this really good materia. I'm like, well, thanks, I guess. This game's like, and your reward is 7 of these. I'm like, that's fantastic. So it's like, one of them is, they can auto conjure a magic without you having to, like, a certain spell without you doing it. So I'm like, oh, that's great. So, like, on one of my team members in each party, I've got someone that just auto heals. So if someone gets low, they just chuck an auto heal straight away. I'm like, great. One less thing I have to worry about. That's fantastic. Good shit. And he's like, have 7 of them. I'm like, that's great. I love that. I'm not going to use 7 of them, but I can have them. That's great.
It's one for every party member.
See, my thing is, even with the dupes of the materias and stuff, I've been like, well, now I still want the ones I was using so that it gets the experience.
That's a you problem, Kyle. Going to this game's like 70 hours. You can live with that. You'll have enough XP. You'll live. I believe in you.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't think it's a minor annoyance, if anything, just like the rest of Chatley's minorly annoying issues.
There is some good. Here's the thing, though: is I like Chadley as a character because, especially in this game,
I was ambivalent towards him in the remake, and now I've tipped negative because he won't stop bothering me.
I was negative on him in remake, and now I'm more negative.
Dude, there's so many. If you actually do this, there's so many funny lines, though. There are so many good lines.
Yeah, but I also want to.
It's hidden under an avalanche of his boring monologuing.
Oh, there's just stuff like he's made another version of himself.
Yeah, he programmed himself a girlfriend because he's a loser.
Well, no, it's more like a twin. He's programmed himself a twin who does all the combat stuff, but then she starts becoming sentient and he's hating it. So there's like this little mini like fight going. I'm like, it's just like.
I also don't get any of that dialogue like naturally because I have my controller speaker muted, so I'm just always skipping through it anyway.
Did you not set it to TV?
No.
It all comes through the TV. Mine just comes through the TV like a normal. This is like that's a you problem. That's not. That
one is a you.
Well, no, but I'm also completely unmotivated to change this because Chadley sucks.
He's fun. I like him. He's got some funny lines.
He smells.
He's got some funny lines. Everybody in this game has some really.
He's dressed like a 5th grader on a field trip.
There are so many funny lines in this game where I genuinely have like laughed like properly, and not just in a this is cringy Japanese dialogue kind of laughing way. I'm like, no, that's some genuinely good stuff. So many side characters coming back, like you say, the gang coming back from chapter 9. That was great. Obviously, the weightlifter guys are back, and that is so like there's some really good lines with that one. The new minigame, Cal, did you play it? You probably didn't play it. It's really funny.
No,
So
I
it's
probably
like,
ignored it.
so you're doing sit-ups, right? So you're doing
Yep, I
crunches.
definitely ignored it.
Yeah, right. You're doing crunches,
I
and it's on
ignored
the
it in the
triggers
first game
now.
too.
No, and I'll say this to my friend Eamon: it's one of the best uses of the adaptive triggers I have ever seen in my life. Where, because you're doing sit-ups, the longer you're doing the sit-up, like the quick time mini game, obviously the harder it's getting for Tifa to do it. So you have like the triggers get really fucking hard when you're trying to do the crunches.
nice.
So it's like it properly feels like you have to like. I was sitting there actually tried to have to fucking mash it. I had to swap fingers because it wasn't working because my finger wasn't strong enough. It was great. I was like, what a fun use of the adaptive triggers. I was like, that's so fun. There's so many funny lines. You've not met Johnny yet, Hunter, but he's back, and he's back in a extremely funny way, to be honest.
I met
like
Kyrie again.
Yeah. Oh, he's everywhere,
nice.
you could say. There's so many funny lines. There's a whole side quest revolving around him, and it's so dumb and it's stupid. And I love it. God, I love the characters in this game a lot. I don't know.
And one thing that I think serves to introduce the cast better is that so this is going through the rest of FF7's first disc, and a lot of the first disc, there's like, of course, it is still advancing the main story, but a lot of it is more focused on like the characters and their personal issues.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just another good way to help people like Ethan or like anyone who hasn't played original FF7 get to learn what these new cast members are all about.
Mm-hmm. Which is like, I already knew Yuffie because I played Remake Intergrade, thank you very much. And I remember Hunter, I remember us saying when we played Remake Intergrade, we were like, damn, she plays really good. She plays like a main character. And I'm like, now playing her, I'm like, I can understand why they spun off her into this, because I'm like, yeah, she plays really good, and she still plays really good in this. There's a whole section in the game where you have to play as her for a while, and it's like, oh yeah, of course they did this because
I have a rough
they knew
estimate of what that is.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is, of course they made you play as her here. It's great. I love that stuff. And they, like I say, they do such a good job, whether it's a character who shows up for 2 seconds or 5 minutes or an hour. They all feel great. And I just love the random throwbacks to random characters that were in the original remake. There's no reason to bring a load of these people back, but they do. Was anyone clamoring for the return of the thugs from the subway to come back? No.
No, I wasn't expecting that joke to go on as long as it did in the first game to begin with. So seeing them again, I was like, oh, this is fantastic.
Hunter, there's a whole section where they're playing dead in a warehouse, and you have to figure out how to get them to stop playing dead in front of you. And it's just like, it's so stupid. I love it. It's like so goofy. Or it's like the Fort Condor sections. I don't love the Fort Condor sections, but I can't say that they don't have a ton of charm, because they get sucked into the board game and they go all Kingdom Hearts 3 Toy Story land, where they all become like little minifigure kind of blocky versions of themselves on the Fort Condor map.
That's the one thing about the Queen's Blood players, at least for the few that I've encountered so far, where they all have this weird personality quirk that makes them essentially a Yu-Gi-Oh duelist, like the crying dude, or the lady who
got to the weird bit of Queen's. You won't have got to the weird bit yet, have you?
No, I don't know what that means.
Keep playing. That's all I'll say, is just keep playing Queen's Blood. But I love
There's an actual queen that's bleeding.
No, but there was a bit where I was like, what? I was like, excuse me? That's crazy. But yeah, I love Queen's Blood. I'm like, Kyle, I know you're not a fan of mini games, but as number one mini game fan, I have to say I'm having a great time with the mini games. There's been a couple that were a bit shit, but most of them I'm like, Queen's Blood, chef's kiss, fantastic. As a as someone who loves bullshit card games and video games, having a fantastic time with it.
Dude, I tried it. I could not. I just did not jive with it.
It's good.
I'm sure it is, but it's
I
not for
100%
me.
understand, because it's like people love Gwent in The Witcher, and I never jived with Gwent. So I understand when a card game, an arbitrary card game in a video game doesn't make sense with you. I 100% understand that. But I just loved Queen's Blood. It's great. Also, later on, Hunter, they have like these challenge versions where it's like, here's a scenario, figure out how to win from this. And I'm like, oh, that's fun. That's another fun way of doing that. Where you have like 3 cards to get the win, and it's like, oh, interesting. Some of them I genuinely was sitting there thinking, oh, these are good. I like this.
Makes it like a puzzle.
Yeah, it's some good stuff. Like I say, there's plenty that are like Fall Guys. There is one that is literally the jumping minigame. The one with the circle with the rotating pillars. Oh shit, I'm chucking stuff all over my house. Ignore that. That was loud. Ow. Anyway, but yeah, it's like the Fall Guys minigame where you go around and you have to jump. There's that. That's just a minigame. It's like there's so many minigames in this game. Why?
I encountered Moogles yesterday, and they wanted me to like play tag or something, and I
the fucking Moogle thing. That's
I gave up on that because
that
I tagged one of them, and then I would get to the other ones, and it wouldn't register. So I'm like, well, okay, bye. Sorry, Moogles. Also, their whole Kupo thing comes off slightly less abrasively when you don't have to hear it.
I'm not gonna lie. After playing 7 Remake and seeing the little boy that was like dressed as a Moogle, and everyone was like, haha, look, he's dressed as Mog the Moogle. I was like, oh, yeah, everyone's taking the piss like they're not real. So then to get this comically fucking cartoonish big tree in the mushroom in the middle of the forest and knock on the door, I'm like, that's weird. As someone who's not used to this, I'm like, very weird. I'm used to the only other Final Fantasy I've played is 16, where there's that one Moogle that only you can see, and he's like, "This is a secret that stays between us. I'm not real."
Who looks shockingly different than the ones in this game, by the way. Like the whole shape of them is more narrow in this game.
Yeah, they got weird bodies, aren't they? They got very weird looking bodies.
The other one looks just like a Moogle with actually rendered fur, like in 16. This one looks
curvy.
strange.
Like, why is it like that? It's like weird.
These ones
isn't it?
look weird.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
I'm still used to like the Kingdom Hearts Moogles, where they're just like teddy bears, essentially.
Yeah, which is, to be fair, I never really thought of Moogles as needing fur, but apparently that's the direction we've went.
Well, the funny thing
is, it's like Detective Pikachu. I never thought about Jigglypuff with fur.
Oh, I don't like that.
That's the direction they went with that.
Wouldn't that just be skin? What? Fur?
What? Yeah, it's fur.
No.
It's
no.
Yeah, I'm not.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you, Hunter.
Yeah, that's creepy as fuck. But no, I think, like I say, I'm having a great time with it, and I think what's interesting with this game is, again, in Final Fantasy VII Remake, the original, a lot of it was added, but I never, in my head, I wasn't sitting there going, okay, this bit's definitely new, or this bit definitely is whatever. I was like, it all felt like it belonged in a way, and the same way with this game, where if you were to tell me what was and what wasn't in the original part of this game, I'm like, I have no fucking clue. Like, maybe was the Chocobo thing not in it at the start of chapter 2? Like, I don't know.
No, the
Chocobo stuff was there.
You definitely needed to.
Like, that's what I mean. Like,
you needed a Chocobo.
Yeah.
To get.
But the difference is you had to like put on a lore materia and go run around in the forest for a Chocobo.
You didn't have to do a stupid stealth minigame.
You also couldn't kill the snake.
No, you didn't have to play Metal Gear Chocobo.
Metal Gear Chocobo kind of sucks. I'll be negative on that.
It's pretty garbage.
Yeah. The second one in the fucking sand, like that, well, I wasn't a fan of that one. Pushing buttons to try and sneak past them. I'm like, oh, no. That one was slow as hell. I couldn't tell you what is and isn't in the original then so far. I could not tell you. I genuinely couldn't. Like, that was my best guess, was that. Were the caves that long in the original? Like, I don't know.
I don't think there were caves.
No, there's the Mithril mines.
Oh, was there?
Well, fuck. Yeah. Well, Hunter, we're not doing.
That's where you met the Turks.
Oh, that was okay.
Well, not where you met them, but you saw them in there. Reno was
Yeah.
there. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
good.
No vacation for him. Can't have
Yeah.
anything in Midgar.
Do you know what? My sadness was elevated when I did go to the vacation place and he wasn't there. I was like, there was a part of me that was like, oh, maybe he'll be at the beach, and he wasn't at the beach. I was like, oh, where's he gone
Instead,
on
it was just
vacation then?
Hojo.
Yeah, you get Hojo.
I hate Hojo so much. I really
God,
don't like
he's so
Hojo.
gross. Like,
Yeah,
if Grease was sentient, that's what it would look like.
it's true. I'm not a huge fan of him, to be honest. It does make me like. I don't know about you. Don't know if you can explain this to us a bit more, Kyle, though, because I feel like
Oh.
in terms of chapters when this game is going, it feels like, because I'm in chapter 7, it feels like I've done a lot, but I haven't at the same time, if that makes sense from a story. Like, it's like I'm still chasing fucking cloaks and having, like, like I say, I'm about to go to the Golden Source or whatever. And it's like, whereas in 7 Remake, I was like, okay, we're getting to this, this, and this. And because I knew where the ending was or whatever, I'm like, okay, we're ending, leaving there. And I'm like, okay, Sector 7, plate falling, that's got to be close to the end or whatever, even though we're doing the bullshit lab and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Whereas this game, I'm like, I know where the end point is because that's the one spoiler that this fucking game has had on me for the past 20 years, okay? I know where we're going, okay? Or if we are, who knows? I haven't seen the end. But I know where we're going, but I don't know the pacing of that story up until that point, if that makes sense. So it's like, to me, it feels like I said, I've still got like 4 areas to explore. And I'm like, I don't know where this fits in. Do the chapters get longer as the game goes on?
They're definitely expanding on what happened in the original. So, like, you're gonna get to it in a little bit, but in the original, there was one part where you go to Gongaga, and that's
Gungaga?
like a 20-minute thing.
Yeah.
You're there for like not very long. But that gets completely expanded on in Rebirth
Mm-hmm.
to going to a whole you're visiting a reactor at that point.
It's interesting because
That's where it leads to.
Because it's like, I've done chapter, like, I'm at the end of chapter 7, about to go to the Golden Saucer. And I'm
Dude, let me
like,
know let me know who you get for Golden Saucer.
is that where it comes up here?
'Cause
I
I'm
thought it'd be
curious.
later. I thought it'd be later.
Unless it is later, but I Hunter, you probably wouldn't know. I don't know if you
Well,
know if we go back to Gold Saucer or not.
well, you can. I don't think the story ever mandates that you do again after you visit there the first time, but
I don't remember.
if
But
you
they
enjoy
mentioned you back there.
fun, then you will.
Oh, no, you do get the date later. The date is later.
Okay.
Apparently.
Because I was gonna say in my I was
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, okay, because
Chapter 12,
he drags you
apparently.
back there. Yeah.
oh, I'm almost there then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good for you.
Neat.
Kyle
They-
just thought he played so
Why? Who
neutrally
did
that
you
he
think? Who did you
didn't
get?
one.
Who did you get? Who did you think you got?
I thought I would be getting Aerith.
Oh.
And then I saw Tifa knock on my door.
Oh, good. Keep thriving. But yeah, it's
Also,
interesting.
thank you for being a brave soul and looking that up for me.
It's fine. I mean, let's be real here. I would have already, if I got to the Golden Source, I would have already been looking that up because I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I've done the right points. What the fuck's happening? Am I starting the game over again because I got the wrong one? Let's find out.
If you start the game over,
need
dude,
to
I'm
calm
not coming
down.
back for a month.
If it wasn't Barrett or Tifa, I'm fucking turning that console off and then playing it again.
And even if you got the dog,
Sorry, Red 13.
hang out with your dog. Hang out with
like
Ryuji.
I like Red, but also I'm here for a reason. I have got
Dude,
two
just watch
people.
the scene you want and pretend you got it.
Yeah.
No,
dude.
because I'm not a Persona fan, Hunter. I will not go to
Yes, you
YouTube.
are.
No.
You literally are.
And so are all of you.
Unless
but
Persona 5 doesn't count.
Yeah, Persona 5 doesn't. It's a YouTube video. Everyone knows this. But no, like, where was I before we went off the rails? Right, end of chapter 7. I feel like I've done a lot, but I've done nothing at the same time, if you know what I mean. Like, I feel like in terms of follow the plot, from chapter 2 onwards, it's been follow the cloaks. And we have followed the cloaks. We're still following the cloaks. And other than a couple of scenes here and there, I'm like, from an overall narrative perspective, I'm getting a load of lovely character development and all these relationships and dynamics that I'm having a blast with. But I still feel like I'm on a romp here. Like my
Yeah, I
main
mean,
issue
like,
with this game has always been, is it
It's
going to
kind of what
feel
the
like a middle
PS1
chapter?
era of
Yeah.
Final
yeah,
Fantasy was go here, do thing, experience some stuff, move on, barely get more about the main story until disc 2
yeah,
late part.
I know, but the thing
yeah.
with
Like
the
the main
original
story is
remake
gonna
was
slow down,
the original
but
remake was kind of go 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 up until the end. There was like a couple of down points, but it was when you were forced into like a fucking dungeon, like the stupid labs. Like there
yeah.
wasn't really a point where the game was like, take a breather, piss about, find whatever, which is a
But you got to remember,
interesting take.
Ethan, remake was taking from the first 8 hours of the original, which
Which was
that's
all
that's the
being
hook
driven.
point.
Yeah,
You
but here's the
need to
thing
have
is,
your story there.
oh, and I 100% agree, but also this is like well, if this game is anything to go by, this game is at least the exact same length as remake, if not longer, if you just mainline, right? Where you are at 24 hours, do you remember how long it took you to beat the original remake when you were just mainlined it?
Over a year, technically.
I know it was probably it was
Because
probably,
then I gave up and needed Hunter to beat it for me.
but it was probably like 25, 30 hours, right? That was
I
probably
have no
how
idea.
That
this game's
sounds
probably the
about
same
right,
length.
because I didn't do everything, but it took me around like 35, I think.
For me, doing every side quest, it was 35 hours. And it's like, spoiler alert, hello, I'm there, and I'm halfway through the main story. And like I say, the open world stuff has got, like, this is going to be a 100-hour game to me, probably. And I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to have a great time. Thank you. I'm going to do all those arbitrary bullshits on the map. It's going to be great. Have a great time. You know what? I'm going to become friends with Chadley. We're going to have a good time. Fuck you, Hunter.
Good for
I'll
you,
befriend
man.
him. Thank you. Thank you, Kyle.
You'll be the only one.
Someone's got to.
Someone's got to.
I'd drop an EMP in his drink.
Wow, that's mean. You're a horrible person. But don't get me wrong, I love pissing about. I'm sure the Gold Saucer, I'll have plenty of time pissing about there. I'll have a great time, probably. I love hanging out with these characters. But I am also thinking, when we look back on this as a trilogy as a whole, are we just going to think of part 1 being guns blazing story, part 3 being guns blazing story, and part 2 being the 100-hour piss about? Like, which, let's be real here,
Well,
I'm perfectly fine with that. It probably will be my favorite in the trilogy if this is the 100-hour piss about. But you know, like,
I think 100-hour piss about is kind of selling it short, because a lot of this disc is going to be focusing on individual character stories,
and it's doing it
not
well.
necessarily the overall plot.
Oh, and I don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
it's doing it well.
It's
I'm loving
like,
the stuff that they are doing with like Cloud and Tifa and that contention building and stuff like that. And then you've got, to be honest, I just love the. Oh, you haven't done that side quest. I was going to mention it. I don't know. You won't have done it.
Yeah,
Either,
no, I
didn't you?
haven't, dude.
There's a side quest with Barrett where it's like it's talking about it's about a mum and a son, and you're accompanied by Barrett, and it's basically the whole there's like a 10-minute walk across the map that you have to do with Barrett following a dog, and the whole
Jesus
of it
Christ.
is no, but it's great because it's all character dialogue and stuff like that, and it's all Barrett having like an existential crisis about one day Marlene's going to leave him, and it's just like him like being like,
Classic.
literally it starts out with him being like, she can go whenever she wants, I'm not going to stop her, and then he's like, but what if she does go too soon? Oh god. And they just starts crying. This is like, this is great. I love this stuff. It's fantastic.
But to your point there, I think a lot of what's happened is because disc 2 of Final Fantasy 7 PS1, not a lot happens. You're dealing with the aftermath of the most famous spoiler in video game history, and then you get some stuff at the end.
Yeah,
So
that's
they've
really
taken
about it, dude.
they've taken a lot of that and just kind of brought it forward and filled it in with stuff from, it seems like. So
It's going to be interesting
yeah.
that's the thing. It's going to be interesting when we talk about this after we've all finished it.
yeah.
Because what is the third game going to be is the interesting question. Because it's
The
like, yeah.
end.
Well,
Yeah.
well done, Kyle. Fucking thank you for answering the question. But you know,
No, it's probably going to be like
You
the
asked him.
weapons and then Sephiroth.
no, I agree. But
At
I
a
also,
base level, it would be that.
Plus
I-
Advent Children.
Plus,
but no, here's what I
leading
am.
into Kingdom Hearts 5.
Here's what I am saying though is with part 2 bringing stuff forward, expanding on all this stuff, it does leave, if they wanted to make a game of this size for part 3, it does leave a lot of shrug. Like it leaves a lot of, because everyone's like, this is only to the end of disc 1. I'm like, disc 1 is like disc isn't disc 3 just the final fucking bit? Like, it's literally just like the end, isn't it?
It's the final dungeon, and then like leading up to that, there is a lot of like aftermath of Shinra stuff, wrapping up all of that.
There is.
There's a lot of the story that the second disc was missing.
Yeah.
True. But it's like, I feel like there's going to be a lot, because I think there's going to be a lot of wiggle room with whatever bullshit they potentially are going to do with the Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy. There's plenty of room for them to sprinkle in plenty of Nomura bullshit into that final part and expand and do random shit. So it is going to be interesting to see.
What if we got to the end of part 3 and then after the credits roll, it just says continued in part 4?
You know, there is still
and
a
then
part
that's
of me.
Advent Children in Surge of Cerberus.
You know when they
Oh,
announced,
baby.
you know when they announced Rebirth,
Don't
and
threaten
were
me
like,
with a good time, Hunter.
you know, they said we're proud to announce that it'll be in 3 parts, and they were like, this is it, this is part 2, and this is part 3. It'd be I 100% that. Well, I think there's a 40% chance that when it comes to announcing part 3, they're like, we're pleased to announce we were wrong. It's 4 parts because we couldn't fit everything in, and then they're just like, there we go, oopsie doopsie.
Everyone,
Final
get ready.
Fantasy VII Reckoning Part 1.
Get ready for part 3, part 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. But it'll be interesting to see. I'm having
Like
a blast.
it's a young
with it.
adult movie in the mid 2000s.
Oh dear. But no, I'm having a lot of fun. It's pretty good. I love Defy Destiny together, dude. I love that. That's great. It's a great game. I'm having a good time. Is it flawed? Yes.
Yes.
Is there stuff that I don't like about this game? Very much. Also, can I say, I think the menus are worse this time. I think the simpler menus
yeah,
work better.
They suck. Why is the item transmutation at the top? Folios suck.
Yeah.
The party screen doesn't do anything.
Broski, why is party not where you go to change the party? That's dumb.
They gave everybody
That
like
menu
walk-ons
doesn't do
and stuff
anything.
like that, and I was like, it was better with the JPEGs. It was better with the JPEGs. It was quicker. It ran better.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. I'm not. Yeah. Why? Why did you change? That was changing shit for shit's sake. Like, the old system worked. Just that's fine. It will be interesting. Because I assume that when the final part comes out, they're gonna do a triple pack. They're gonna do it.
Obviously,
You know they're going to do
they're
it.
just gonna. Yeah.
For the PS6, as we all know it.
And then a year or two later, they're gonna sell a fancier box with all 3 of them and pretend like they didn't sell you a triple pack when it released.
There's a part of me that's like,
it'll include like a disc of all of the intermission episodes or something.
Well, you know how apparently they did an update for base 7.
They'll add Advent Children or something.
Oh yeah,
or not Advent Children, a Crisis Core.
They did like an update, a patch. They changed the ending cutscene to remake.
They changed the line.
They changed the line for no reason, which is dumb because the old line was
It's
better.
stupid because the old line is better.
Yeah, it genuinely was. But it's like, so they're not. There's a small part of me that's like, wouldn't it be funny if they went out of their way when they do this triple pack to be like, okay, from beginning to end, we can make one application and you just play through all of it. Just fuck it, we bought. Like, there's a small.
That's like
part of it,
7 million gigabytes.
Yeah, there's like 300 gigabytes.
You'll have to buy a new console just to hold it.
$500. Yeah, like I think that'd be great. That'd be so funny.
Oh, this is the PlayStation 5. This is the Final Fantasy VII PlayStation 5. For when I want to play that.
Hunter, it'll be on the PS6 anyway. Why are you worrying? This game is 100% a PS6 game. It took them 4 years. Like, there's gonna be a new PlayStation by 4 years' time. Like, this is gonna be a 3-generation game. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, dude, don't you love having 3 consoles to play one video game?
Well, here's the thing, Kyle. I'm appreciating the effort that they're going into it, and I love the expansion of it, which I think is great. I'm loving that.
Oh yeah.
I also think, to this game's detriment, somehow when we played Final Fantasy VII Remake, and we were like, there's issues with it. It isn't running too great. And I think I was on board when saying this is a PS5 game that they managed to work on PS4. And when I played it on PS5, I'm like, this is fantastic. This is the way you should play Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm now playing this, and I'm going, oh, this feels like it needs something better to run it on a lot of the time.
My God.
So it's like,
Oh my
I
god,
feel...
you think he's playing a Switch game over here?
No, I don't think...
This
no.
man is never satisfied, dude.
It's great.
Just become a PC gamer.
No. I might become a PC. I might buy this on PC.
Ew,
I might do it.
God, gross.
But
Sticky.
no, but the point I'm trying to get across is, I'm like, I hope Square Enix, this is my pitch to you. Part 3, make it for the PS5, delay it a year, put it all on PS6, have it run fucking fantastic. That is my pitch to you. Please do that. Also release the PS5 version if you want. Just be nice so people don't have to buy another console, because, you know, think of the people. But
yeah.
Do
this,
because
this
part
because for once, think of the people, Square Enix.
Think of the people, Square Enix. Some people will buy it twice, like me with this one. I'll buy it twice, PS5 and 6. Why not?
I'll buy 2 versions of each.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. Fuck it. I'll forget. It's fine. It's good.
I'll probably buy the
great.
Xbox version if that ever actually.
Fucking hold your
exist.
horses. I'm not that desperate, mate. Calm down. I'm not buying the Xbox version.
Man, you've got an
Xbox
Xbox version of Persona 3 Portable on that shelf somewhere.
And I'll have you know, it's worth $120 now. That was an investment.
Oh, well, good for you.
Like, this will be an investment. My sealed copy of this that has a steelbook in it and a soundtrack, which I do want. Let's mention the soundtrack.
Oh, dude,
Fuck
the music
me.
rules in this game.
This might be.
They've done such a good job at putting in all the familiar leitmotifs in, like, new, interesting ways. Like, Hollow being part of the overworld music if you go certain places.
In Section 1, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I genuinely think that they have cooked with the soundtrack. Here's the thing, I don't care about Jeff Keighley and his bullshit Arbitrary Game Awards. If this fucking soundtrack, which is 150 songs, does not win best soundtrack, I'm rioting in those fucking streets. I'm getting my pitchfork out, because it is one of the best soundtracks. It's one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard. There's not a single song that I have heard in this game where I'm like, kind of a miss, to be honest.
Dude, the battle version of the overworld music, really cool.
The fact that, here's the thing, I loved that the original remake had 60 million ways of redoing the battle theme into different areas.
Yeah.
That was nice. What I think is fantastic about this game is now they're just like,
done the reverse.
We're going to make a jam of an overworld theme, and then we're going to make it get even fucking better when you get into the battle, because it's just going to be a battle version of that theme, and it's just sick. I love it.
You still get to hear the battle music sometimes, like the old, those who fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good
you get
stuff.
to hear some of the they brought some of the old music back as well from the original remake and used it either in new ways or I've just replay it, and I'm like, oh, that's a great reuse of that song because it was only used once in the original. Why would you not?
Yeah, like the overworld. If you didn't play the PS1 version of the game and knew that was the overworld music, you heard that in Sector 7.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's fantastic. They've just, like, it's even arbitrary stuff where, like I say, that same mission where you're playing with, where you're chasing a dog with Barrett as you're walking on this thing, it plays a version of the overworld theme that's mixed with that really funny, like, stamp jingle that was in the original remake that you could buy from that vending machine. Like, so it's like, you can just, like, it's playing this really beautiful piece of music and you can just hear, like, the bow wow wow in the background, and, like, this is so good. Like, I don't know what you're cooking over there, but you've done it. You've nailed it. It's so good. The soundtrack is so fantastic. The chapter 9 music
during
in the tunnels, where you're like you're trying to do the fucking, in the original remake, the stupid arm puzzles with Aerith where you've got to raise the arm up. Like, they play that while you're on the beach, and it works perfectly, even though it's in a completely opposite scenario. They just changed it a tiny bit. I'm like, oh, so good. Man.
The scene with the fire adding in the one-winged angel chant to those chosen by the planet was a really good touch.
That was really cool.
They made it feel like that was part of the song originally. Like, I'm like,
I thought it was from
not,
listening
but
to
I
it.
have
I'm
to
like,
double
oh, that's
check.
so good. Honestly, there's so many songs.
It's a nice compromise between what everyone made his theme song and what was his actual theme song.
There are so many songs in this game that are just low key bangers where it's like they have no reason to be this fucking good. It's like Xenoblade levels of just, you're climbing up the mountain and it just has the most fucking jammy song as you're just going up, and I'm like, why is this so good? Like, I'm just chilling, climbing up the mountain with Aerith
I
and
can't
Red
wait for
right
the
now, and it's
golden
just like, this
saucer to
is,
poison my brain for a month.
dude, there's so much good music, and I'm like,
It's a
it has
catchy
no
song,
right.
Hunter.
Yeah, dude. Okay, one time, the last time I thought about the original version of that song, for some reason, I also thought about the King K. Rool music from Donkey Kong Country because they sound really similar,
I can hear it, yeah.
and that ruined my day at work because my brain was just like, "You don't know, stop it."
But no, there's so much good music in this game where I'm like, holy, like I remember I didn't watch the PlayStation showcase of this game. I can't remember what it was, state of play on this game, because I was like, spoilers, no thank you. But I did remember them saying, we've, like, this soundtrack is that big, it's 150 songs. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, it isn't. Don't, like, what? No, it isn't. And you're not cooking. Like, go away. And then I play the game. I'm like, damn, no, they cooked. Like, why are there songs for just why is there a song on the soundtrack for one random side quest? And why is it so fucking good? Like, there is no reason for it to be this
It
good.
had no right to go this hard.
Genuinely, dude. Like, oh, so much good stuff. Oh god, I love the soundtrack. It's like, I want the whole sound. That's the thing is, I want the whole soundtrack to be released. But also, I'm
Dude,
sitting there going,
you
I
have
have to.
it.
No, I have the mini soundtrack selection because, of course, it's
Oh.
not the full soundtrack in here. I'm not opening this bad boy. This is my inheritance.
You don't get your inheritance from yourself.
This is
Ethan.
my child's inheritance. Shut the fuck up.
Goes right next to his Pokemon inheritance.
Yeah, it's that, the copy of Soul Silver, and my Xenoblade 3 Collector's Edition that will put my potential children through college. Thank you very much. But yeah, having to sift through that 150 track soundtrack to go, okay, which ones, where are the couple that I want? Like, I know there's definitely a couple that I definitely like really want to do, but my god, there's so many good songs. Right, we've rambled long enough. Was there anything else you wanted to bring up that I cannot remember? We never talked about you wearing a funny outfit, Hunter. We never talked about that.
Yeah, I'm dressed like Vincent again.
Because he's not here. And in part 3, he won't wear it just for consistency.
That'd be
when
funny.
he shows up, Hunter won't be on the podcast because he'll be in the game at that point as Vincent. Sorry, Matt Mercer.
It'd be impressive if somehow I raised my stock high enough to replace Matt Mercer mid-project.
You can do it.
I don't think
Either
that's
that or
possible.
something bad happened to Matt Mercer.
Oh no.
Dude, they won't. They're probably. Do you think they're already getting ready with stuff like that? Because I have a feeling that when they did intermission with Yuffie and all that jazz, I have a feeling that they would probably already working on Rebirth at that point. So it's like, how long does it take for them to do this stuff?
So I'll say this: last week Yuffie's VA was doing a live stream, and I was listening in for a little bit, and she said that she had recorded her stuff, her lines for Yuffie and for Fuka around like a year ago.
So they are doing it more recently. It's weird how, because it's like some of it will have been done ages ago, some of it's been done recently. It's really weird how they go about it.
It's always interesting hearing the performers talk about when it was that they were doing the voicing and capture and stuff.
Persona's always mad late. Persona is always mad late. Like, Persona 5's voice. I remember listening to Xander Mobus talk about it, where it was like, Persona 5's voice acting was done like the August before it came out in April. Like, that's how late it was into development. Like, it was just like, they get it all done in like 4 weeks. Like, everyone's just in there, like, going. It's like, that's crazy. But maybe Rebirth. Here's the thing. I think Rebirth was probably not Rebirth. Reload was earlier because of the global launch and all that jazz, and having to do trailers and all that jazz. They probably did the Reload voice acting
probably,
like 2.5 years beforehand. Probably 2 years. There's so much voice acting though in Rebirth that I'm like, they had to have done it in massive bursts because it's like, my god.
I'm pretty sure like everything in this game is voiced.
Everything in this game voiced.
For better or for worse, yeah.
Even every side quest is voiced. Everything is voiced.
The
Every
random
time you walk.
NPCs you run by.
Oh, what is it? There's like. Oh, it's I can't remember what the first half of it is like. Get a wheelie! That same fucker every time you walk past him. It's like
save your feet and ride a wheelie.
Yeah, save your feet and get a wheelie. It's like you haven't got that.
I'm like, is there a throttle button in this video game?
My dad was like,
there was one during the flashback where it was the kid remarking about Cloud's sword and asking if he could touch it, and I'm like, no, shut up. or the people outside the inn chanting Sephiroth like they're the one-winged angel choir.
My favorite,
like,
the wheelie guy,
nice.
because if you're on your wheelie, Kyle, you have to do like 4,000 meters or
That's
whatever.
What
so I was just doing
segways?
a loop. Oh yeah, I was just doing a loop, and it was going past that wheelie guy every single fucking time. So as I was doing it, every time it got past him, I was just doing the wheelie line, and my dad was like, "You okay?" I'm like, "I'm having the time of my life." He was like, grab a wheelie. That's every time I drive past. It was pretty fantastic. But now,
not gonna lie, I did go into the options menu to look for a way to mute background dialogue.
Oh,
I could not find one.
I see. It gets annoying, but also
it
like
does
I said,
very quickly.
But also I love that stuff. It's
Mayor
like
Domino has claimed these disasters to be weather warfare.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, you get that radio, that one radio that's in there. That guy.
I like stopped there for a second because I was like, I didn't realize that it was a radio at first. I thought there was a TV somewhere. I wanted to like look around. To
I
see
was also.
I was
like
TV.
looking around. I was like,
work team.
I'm like, I want to see if there's some kind of discrepancy between this and the version of it I just saw with Zach a little bit ago.
Yep.
Well, there should be a discrepancy.
Well, yeah, but that's what I mean. Is I wanted to look for
Aerith,
it,
you
there
with
was
me?
no
Should
TV.
you be over there? Like, yeah, that's crazy.
Aerith, aren't you in a coma or something?
I don't think that
went to air.
Aren't I in a coma?
Sephiroth's like, are you? And is she real? I'm like, bro, stop trying to fucking ruin my relationship.
There's one thing about that. Tifa just jumping to the conclusion that Cloud thought she was an imposter was the most video gamey writing I've ever experienced in my life.
It's like when in a movie.
I'm like, that's a large leap to make for anyone who's grounded by rational thought.
It's like in any movie when
sad
like,
because Tifa is the most rational party member.
It's like when somebody in a movie just goes, how do we know this plan's going to work? And then the other person just replies with, because it has to, and then walks away. It's like that. It's like just the most generic fucking line. Like, it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, that whole scene, I was like, it was a bit dumb. I was like, she was like, I'm going to put... And then she's like, look at my scar. And then it's like, which is there. Is it there? What, like, where is the scar?
Like, it would have been, like, on her stomach. Like, I don't think that, technically speaking, it should have already been visible.
There, isn't it? I'm like... Just make it like what, like a guy like Square Enix is like, we gotta make figures though. I'm like, just give us a fucking scar, dude. Like, what's wrong with a scar, dude? Cowards. That's what I say. Square Enix, you're cowards. People will like Tifa regardless. Let's be real here. But that whole scene, the way it was like very stupid. I was like, how do I know you're not an imposter? And it's like, what do you mean? At first, I was like, wait, is this an actual plot point of Final Fantasy VII? Is it like, are we actually going to have to go through the is Tifa real section of this video game? I was like, oh, fuck it.
That was made up.
In the original version of the games, Aeris and Tifa kind of took turns sussing on Cloud, depending on what part of the game you were at.
No, which makes... Like I say, it makes sense. The events don't really add up for him to already be assault like at that point because he's been gone like a year. It's like stuff like that doesn't make sense, and I'm like, that's fine. I'll accept that. It's when Sephiroth's like, but is she real? I'm like, well, you fuck off. Like, I'm like, this is some Kingdom Hearts bullshit. Back in your portal. Fuck off. Tell me when come back when you're bitching about Genova again. Piss off. Get out of the door. I don't want to.
Poo poo Cloud.
Literally. Is she the imposter? She's looking sus, Cloud. And then walks away. I'm like, oh, God
saw her vent, Cloud.
I can't...
You can trust me. I was an Electrical.
Here's the thing with Sephiroth as well that annoys me is, you know, there's like sections where Sephiroth's there and Cloud like Miyangi, Sephiroth, and then it's just one of the hooded guys. I'm like, fair enough. That makes like whatever.
Yeah.
It's the times where Sephiroth just shows up and he's like, "Yo, sup, Cloud? How you going? Pee pee poo poo." No one's there. Is he there? It's just like, what the fuck is that? At least have some consistency. Like the bit where he's like, "Is she real?" There's not a hooded guy there. So is he just in? He's just like, he's pissing about. He's like, "Well, hey, I just do it for fun." It's been voiced by fucking Seth Rogen.
Hey, Cloud, it's me, Sephiroth.
It's me, Seth. Is she real?
Hunter's not amused with our antics.
I don't understand what's happening anymore.
But like that's my main like. I like the idea because here's the thing: is Cloud's fucked up and like I say, the soldier stuff is obviously linked to Sephiroth and it's done some fucking shit to him as it has done to these other hooded individuals, and it's very clear that what is happening to them is happening in some way, shape, or form to Cloud in some extent. I'm like, I'm fine with that. Just can Sephiroth stop being a fucking bitch? Either have a plan, stop stirring shit, okay? Like stop stirring shit.
I'd like it more if he was applied like the Joker was in Arkham Knight.
It'd be funnier if every 5 minutes he just stood behind Aerith and just went 15 hours. Stop going, is Tifa real? And going, you better look after that one. She looks like it. Damn, bro. Like, fuck. Nah, just kidding. Oh,
it'd be funny if he threatened everyone except for her.
No. I'm just, yeah. Maybe that's the plan. Maybe that'll be the thing, is he just keeps going on about Tifa this whole time. So when the thing does happen, he's like, see, you shouldn't stop worrying about Tifa. Now she's gone, dumbass, bye. And then fucking walks away. There you go. That's the whole scene. But it's goofy. Sephiroth is goofy, dude. He is very goofy. But I still prefer him to Ultima. So, you know, he's got that going for him. Better than Ultima.
Well, yeah, Ultima was barely anything.
Yeah, he was barely good. In fact, he wasn't barely good. He was bad, not good at all. That gives him some credit. But no, I'm having a good time. It's funny. It's good. But
yeah, I'm enjoying my time with it. Like, yeah, I'm definitely like the harshest on this game out of the three of us, but I think that's just a carryover of this game bringing a lot of stuff from Remake that I wasn't a fan of.
No, and like that's the thing, is this game's not going to win you over. Like,
no, and I knew that going in.
There's stuff that is for like, people are gonna talk about like Nomura's Wild Ride and all that shit where they do, oh, look at this fun stuff, we're doing weird shit, and I'm like, at the end of the day, you shouldn't be here for that. You should just be like, hey, I want to vibe with Final Fantasy VII. If you do just want to be like, what's happening next, blah 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 blah, then 90% of you people could get that from a YouTube video and just watch the 6 million of your favorite YouTubers react to the ending. And, oh my god, I can't believe it. They killed Red 13.
People will do that.
Yeah, and you'll have a great time.
RPG fans.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about the ending being spoiled because I'm not going to go hunting for it. Like, I don't need to be on Twitter. I can I'm not.
It's also a binary option.
Yeah. I just won't partake.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's only so much that could be given away.
There was two options. I could rush through it and then do all the side shit later, or I could just experience it. And seeming by my calculations, there's no other video games coming out for the rest of eternity. I think I've got time to finish it. But that's just me.
You can get the plat by the end of this year.
I'm not doing that. Well,
coward.
I'll finish it. I'll do my 100% playthrough. I'm going to leave the hard and the challenge, all that bullshit, because there's so much game. Like, it's too much. I might come back in like 10 platinums time, make it my 200th, like something like challenging to achieve or something like that, but it's so much game. That's the thing. I do not see myself replaying this one over and over again. I just don't. It's too long. Even if I do the main line, there's a lot of just running through areas of like, it's like Xenoblade 1, you know, where I'm just like, wow, look at all this world to explore. That's a nice straight line you got there, and then just plod along. Like, I'm not really looking for that in this game. I like walking around, seeing random shit, dude. I like doing bullshit quests where Johnny wants me to do a random thing, and I'm like, damn you, Johnny, I don't want to do this again.
But I'm gonna.
Yeah, but I see this as a good. Again, it's like a Breath of the Wild. I think this is a good first playthrough. I'll have a great first playthrough, but afterwards, I don't know. I don't think it will be as refined of an experience as the original. Going through it, especially when you got stuff like the Queen's Blood fucking cruise. That will be a second playthrough thing where I'm like, I don't feel like playing 5 rounds of Queen's Blood this time, game. I might have to skip that. I'm sorry.
I just can't believe that shit goes on for 5 rounds, dude.
It's fun.
I
It's
dipped
great.
it round 2.
Damn, you should have kept going.
Dude, I tried.
It's good.
My hand just kept bricking every time, dude.
Well, you gotta build a deck. That's the thing.
I tried.
Love it. It's so good. I love Queen's Blood. It's fantastic,
dude. I bought the cards and everything. I didn't understand what I was doing. Please stop yelling at me.
I will not stop yelling. I had the time of my life. I never felt this way before, Kyle.
Yeah, you should at least be proud of me. At least it's not like my Final Fantasy IX playthrough where whatever that was, Tetramaster, just ended my playthrough because I'm like, I don't wanna.
Well, yeah, at least you got that.
What were you saying, Hunter?
Oh, I was just saying, it's like, Ethan's like Yugi Moto, and you're over here as Joey Wheeler.
Oh, I don't want to be Joey.
You're Joey now, buddy.
Actually, no, I'll be Joey. He was cool.
I was gonna say, at least you're him and not one of Yugi's other loser friends. That the rest of them could be removed from the show and nothing would change.
Yeah.
But no.
So does that make you Kaiba in this situation?
Of course.
Wow.
Nice.
Fair enough. But no, I'm having a blast. I feel like, yeah, play this game once, maybe platinum it, then I'm not going to touch it for the 4 or 5 years it takes. I feel like it's my duty, though, when the time comes and the final part comes out, to do the marathon. I do feel that is going to be something that I have to partake. Well, I have to. It's the trilogy, Kyle. We got to do it. Like, that's the thing. If we survive the Final Fantasy Remake Trilogy, we've got to complete it. We got to do it.
I'm not replaying these games with you.
Run it back. I'll convince you.
I'll run back OG Final Fantasy VII.
I've got 5 years. I think I can convince him, Hunter. I've got 4 years at least.
I'd be willing to commit to doing that, a year in advance.
Like, I'm not saying the month before.
I'm not replaying these other 2 games like a couple of months before the release of this one or
the way I'd probably frame it, Hunter, is a year before release, play the first one. 6 months after that, 6 months before release, play that one, and then there's like a 6-month gap between all 3. That's probably how I'd do it.
Yeah.
Not crazy. Like, my God, both back to back to back. I'm not doing that. That's how I hated Kingdom Hearts, doing that. Ugh, gross.
I think you would have hated it anyway.
I love it. It's great. It's my favorite. I can't wait for Kingdom Hearts 4 next year, guys. Roll it in. Let's get it. Right next to Grand Theft Auto. That'll be there. Right there.
Imagine those 2 at the Game Awards.
Here's the thing.
Going from Kingdom Hearts music to Grand Theft Auto music.
Here's the thing, though, Kyle, which is crazy.
I don't know what Grand Theft Auto music that isn't just actual songs.
I've never played Grand Theft Auto.
Sounds like.
We've been talking about this forever, but I think it's worth it. Do you think it's worth it, Hunter? Picking this game up?
Yeah. If you like Final Fantasy, if you like Final Fantasy VII, if you played the remake and enjoyed it, yeah.
And Kyle, what do you think?
I think if you played Remake and didn't jive with it, you're not gonna get much more out of this game. Honestly, pick it up if you are just curious, if you liked Remake, or if you're curious about how the story's going.
And for the love of God, do not pick this one up blind. Do not do it. Square Enix, you're liars.
Don't pick this up on its own.
Bullshit. Do not pick it up by its own. God.
Do. We're not dead.
Don't live like that. Please don't. For the love of
Stop
anything.
it, Kaiba.
Look, I'm just saying, like, honestly, at the end of the day, it's not the ideal way to experience it, but also, like, it doesn't matter.
No, it does. Don't do that.
Nah. Like, if you wanted to play Kingdom Hearts 3 without the rest of them, do that too.
No, that's different because you're just skipping the bullshit, and I'm fine with that. But here's the thing, right? Is Final Fantasy
And the
VII
one good
Remake
game in the series.
Part 1 of the remake is about you're going to be able to get Part 1 of the remake for basically like $15 at this point. Play it for $15 and see if you like it, because that's a cheaper investment than Rebirth.
I'm pretty sure it's available on Plus.
It is. There you go. Even better. Go check it out that way. Fucking hell. Don't buy Rebirth first. But no. One thing that I want to leave you with, Kyle, which might scare you even more,
Oh, Lord.
is no, just
I don't like that he's singling me out specifically, Kaiba.
Well, that's because nothing scares me.
Yeah, and it's because it's about
That's
Kingdom
true.
Hearts, and you've got about as much chance of Hunter playing Kingdom Hearts if you got as me fucking not playing Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts will have technically had Kingdom Hearts 4 already started development a year before Rebirth could have even started. So
Okay.
just think what bullshit Nomura could have come up with in 5 years, Cal. That's all I'm saying.
Look,
Might
dude,
scare
I think
you.
Kingdom Hearts will happen when it happens. And if you think I'm intimidated by the Kingdom Hearts story, you don't know what I go to Kingdom Hearts for.
No, I'm not. No, you should be intimidated because I want you to think of the internet. Think of the internet, Kyle. That's all I'm saying.
Dude, all
There's
I'm
nothing
saying,
that Kingdom Hearts could cause on the internet that wouldn't already be found somewhere else.
yeah.
All
In
I
its
know
own
is
different flavor of
true,
stupid.
and all I know is whether I like it or not, when Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out, I'll probably end up with one of these by accident. That's all I know, guys. That's all I know.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
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 Or even worse, maybe not by accident, and I'll have one to just use as a paperweight.
Oh, that scared me. Anyway.
He ends up with 2 of them.
Yeah.
Use them to lift, dude. Do my fucking mini game. Who needs the fucking adaptive triggers, baby?
Oh
I'll just
man,
lift
3
one of
reps and you'll
these.
be bigger than Sora.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I will say, this thing's heavier than it looks, probably because it's got that shitty steelbook in it, but, you know. You got a nice steelbook. I wish that steelbook was a special edition steelbook, Cal, the one you have. It's nicer.
What's yours?
It's like Zack and Cloud walking towards Midgard.
Oh. That's
I like how he's grading the steelbooks, even though he despises steelbooks.
I do hate. No, but one thing I will give it to Square Enix, which is why I originally pre-ordered this before I forgot, is Square gives you the original game box and the steelbook as an additional thing, so you still can use an original case, which is what I appreciate that. I hate it when games come just the steelbook without giving you a regular case. That's what I hate, Hunter. That's what I hate. If you give it me as a supplement, I'm like, oh, that looks nice, and I never have to use it. Fantastic. Great. That's a good thing. You ever tried
Persona 5 Royal?
No, that one's in its own, but that...
Yeah, Royal's just a steelbook.
Yeah, and I have that version of it as well. But
so do I.
And it's got a little sleeve.
Yeah. And
looks
luckily
dumb
for
on
me,
my
though,
shelf.
I own them digitally, so I don't have to ever open the steelbook, so I'm fine. I'll live with it. It's fine.
Yeah, you hear that, Hunter? Lucky for him, he bought the game twice.
He bought Persona 5 several more times than
he's Persona
twice.
5's strongest warrior.
Base Persona 5, I've got physical and digital. Royal, I've got it physically on PS4, Xbox, and Switch, and I have it digitally on PS4 as well. I will get the Steam version.
Do you have a PS3 version of P5 Vanilla yet?
No, I don't. I've been wanting it as well.
Yeah.
Not for trophies or anything. I'm not sadistic. And also because base P5 shared a trophy list between PS3 and 4, so there was no extra trophies to be had. But it's hard to find a PAL copy of the PS3 version. I've tried. Turns out not many PAL people were buying PS3 games in 2016. Turns out that's a fun fact for you right there.
I can't imagine why.
Who knows? Anyway, let's wrap this bugger up. Thanks for watching, everybody, I guess. Oh, where's the button? That's the button. Links are on screen. Now, there you go. You can go follow us on Twitter if you want to keep up to date what we do outside of the podcast. What happens now? Anyone's fucking guess. That's it. Games are over. It's time to get
We're
into
at
the
the end of the year.
Nah. See you next. Can't wait for the Game of the Year episode next week. That's going to be crazy. Gosh knows. Who knows? If you have any ideas, let us know. We're going to need them. Good lord. I don't even know what the next game I'll play is after this, which I'm fine with because I'm vibing. But, God, what even is there? Elden Ring? Again? My God. Don't make me do it again, Hunter. Don't make me do it again.
Yeah, Hunter, it's time for your Elden Ring playthrough.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure I'll probably get to it this year, seeing as how my schedule is free starting in June.
In June? What have you got up till then? What the
Rise of the Ronin comes out at the end.
Oh,
of
thank
the
God.
month.
He's playing it. Content.
Then in April there's another Crab's Treasure and
Content.
Stellar Blade.
Content.
And then in May there's
absolute sucker
Senua's
content.
Saga.
Oh,
so
thank God for Hunter, guys. Thank everybody for Hunter.
God,
He will keep
Terry
this
is a show,
podcast.
It's a good thing there's one of us that plays video games.
Well, no. Here's the thing: it just turns out that 2024.
The games you listed don't sound interesting to me.
2024.
I don't understand what kind of dead soul you must have to not be enticed by another Crab's Treasure.
My soul has a screaming feeling that that's going to be a 70 and I don't want to pay for it. That's my thing. It's like there's a couple of games that I would play, but it's like I don't know when they're coming out. Most of them are indie stuff. Like I'll play what's it called? Storybook game. I can't remember what it's called. Plucky Squire.
Yeah.
I'll play a Plucky Squire when that comes out. I'm still looking forward to a couple of indie games when they show up. Anton Blast, I know I want to play because that looks like a fun 2D platform. There's this 3D platformer that I saw that looked pretty good that I wanted to play, but I can't remember what it's called.
Penny's Big Breakaway?
No, I did want to play that, but then everyone said it's like Sonic, and now I'm like, from the Sonic Mania team?
From the Sonic Mania team. Who would have guessed?
I'm like that. No, I will play Penny's at some point.
Oh man, this orange tastes like citrus.
Kyle, you've got Hi-Fi Rush in a couple of weeks.
I do.
Lucky
and then after that, eventually Paper Mario 1000 Year Door remake is coming out.
That's
supposedly.
That's Nintendo's full game now. That's been pushed and pushed. That is funny.
Well, since we're not getting a Pokemon game this year.
I've said it before, Hunter. I'm living by it. Metroid Prime 4 is a Switch 1 game, and it's coming out this year. We got it. I've been right all this time. It will not be on Switch. That'll be the full game. Mark my words, guys. Mark my words. If I'm wrong, I'll play the Elden Ring DLC. That's how confident I am, guys. That's how confident I am. I'm not playing the Elden Ring DLC again unless I'm forced into it. I'm just making that clear. I've got 4 other Souls games to play. I literally have Demon's Dark 1, 2, and 3 and Sekiro. I do not need another bit of Elden Ring in my backlog. I'm good.
Yeah.
Especially because I feel like I could beat Dark Souls 1 and Demon's Souls in the time it'll take me to just beat DLC for Elden Ring with how big
For Elden Ring, yeah.
But no, there's still plenty of stuff to come out, so we'll see how the podcast goes. Like I say, Hunter's going to be carrying us on his back for a little while, as he's the only one that likes playing video games. But it's all good. We'll live. Anyway, next week, who knows? We'll find out, I guess, what's in store. But until then, have an awesome week. Enjoy Final Fantasy VII Rebirth if you're playing it. If not, enjoy playing Persona 3 Reload, Helldivers 2, or whatever the hell else came out in February, because there was plenty of stuff, so you're probably playing something.
Like a dragon.
Yeah,
like a dragon, if you're still on that. Oh god, there's so much stuff. Grand Blue, Fantasy Relink, probably something else. Whatever it is, whatever you're playing, have an awesome week. Thank you. Let me wrap up. Have an awesome week. And yeah.
Under Night 2.
No one's playing that. They all watched the review.
No one's playing that.
Anyway, have an awesome week, whatever it is you're doing, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.